Oh, hello, it's you again. Welcome back. This is a video in which I'm going to show you how to downscale a picture that is too large for you to put on the internet as it is, and how to save it as a JPEG file that is small enough so people can load it fast. We're going to depict the picture that we used in the introduction video to image sizes, and it's the picture about the palm trees. And we're going to downscale it from over 7,000 pixels to just 2,000, which I think is a great size for a photo to be displayed online. Well, here we go. In order to do this, we're going to need a software called IrfanView. That is the one I'm going to use in this video, and I will later show you also how to use this to do the downscaling in a software called GIMP, which is basically like Photoshop, so it's much more professional, but it might be overkill. So we're going to start with the really quick, easy, and user-friendly IrfanView. You could get it at IrfanView.com, and you can download the 32-bit version, or if you have a modern operating system like pretty much everybody does, just grab the 64-bit version and install it on your Windows. After it's installed in Windows, you can just normally launch it from your Start menu. Here it is. In my case, I already have image files associated with IrfanView, so a simple double click will open the image that we want to work on. You will remember that this picture is very large. It's 18 megabytes, and as we discussed just now, it's over 7,000 pixels wide. That is way too much. In order for the image to be good for the internet, let's say you want to use it in a gallery because it's a beautiful photo and you want to show it off, then you could downscale it to 2000 pixels, which is more than enough. In this case, all you need to do in IrfanView is use a shortcut, Control key R. Control R opens the Resize Resample dialog, and you can set the new size to, as we discussed, 2000, and you will see that the height is automatically changed because IrfanView is going to make sure that the proportions of the image stay the same. Otherwise, if you would scale it down to 2000 but the height would stay as it was before, then the image would be horribly squished, and we don't want that. So again, you press Control R to bring this up, you type 2000 and you press OK. And that's it. You didn't even see it, but IrfanView just downscaled it, and you can see here that now it is 2000 pixels. Okay. Also, just why you might ask, why did I press Control R? Control R is basically the option that you can also bring up here in the image menu. You will find an option where you can say resize resample, Control R. All right. Now, after we downscale the picture, we want to save it as a new file name. And again, we want to save it as a JPEG file like the original image, but we can afford to compress it a little more. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction to what image compression is. First of all, we're going to press the S key to bring up the Save As dialog. And we're going to call this one file name palm trees underscore 20 quality. Why 20 quality? Because when you export an image as a JPEG, you can select the quality of the JPEG image on a scale from 0 to 100. That is the compression. So if you pick 100, the image is going to be hardly compressed at all. And it's going to look at its very, very, very best, but it's also going to be a larger file than you need. And if you select something as low as 20 or even lower than that, then it's going to be very, very much compressed. You're going to have a very, very small file, but it's probably going to look pretty bad. I'm going to save a 20 quality file because I want to demonstrate to you how bad it's going to look if you compress it too much. So there we go. This is the file we're going to have first, and it's saved. Now we're going to go for a more reasonable amount. We're going to set the quality to 75%. 75 is normally as low as you can go, and you will probably see like a user will start seeing a little bit of compression, but it's not going to be very bad. As a rule of thumb, never go higher than 90 because between 90 and 100, the human eye simply cannot see the difference. So there's no point having a bigger file for you If you want to go to 90 or 95 or 100%, there's no reason, because none of your viewers are going to watch to see that, unless, I guess, if they really, really zoom in and peep at every pixel, but who's going to do that, right? So we're going to save it at a quality of 75. If you want peace of mind, you can also pick something around 80, and that's going to be perfectly fine. So we're going to do 75 quality for this new file. Okay. Now, I would like to take a moment to show you something else that I quickly skipped over just now when I saved. You will see that when you save a picture in IrfanView, you have all these save quality options that you can choose. And one thing that I always unselect when I save an image for the internet is I tell it to not keep the EXIF data, not keep IPTC data, JPEG comments, XMP data. All of this is metadata. This is data that is saved inside the JPEG file, and it contains information about the JPEG file, like for instance, which camera was used, or which was the aperture, what was the ISO value, or at what time and on what day was the picture shot. All of this information is saved or can be saved by your camera when you take a photo. So if you're even on your phone, if you take a photo, that data is saved as normally invisible metadata that image viewers like this one can make visible, but you don't need that data, right? Because your users, your viewers on the internet, they're not going to look at that. They just want to see the picture. So you can strip that data off, and it means that there's going to be a little less file size, because if you don't save the data, it's not going to account or go into the file size of the image. So again, I just had this what we just did, we downscaled this massively big picture from 7,300 to 2,000 pixels, and then we saved it in two versions. First of all, in JPEG 20% quality JPEG, and we saved it in an 80% quality JPEG. And now let's take a look at how large these files are. The original file is 18 megabytes. The 20% quality JPEG is 183 kilobytes, which is just 0.18 megabytes, and the 75 quality, which is more reasonable, is 519 kilobytes, which is a perfectly fine file size for the internet. Anything that's, especially if you have photos at around this size, anything that's below a megabyte or below 800 kilobyte, you're doing really well. That's perfectly fine. So let's open the 20% quality file just so you can see how crappy compression looks and why you want to avoid it. You can see here that there are now all these artifacts here where the dithering and where the colors blend into each other. You'll see that there's a lot of edges and there's a lot of blocky details that we shouldn't have. And also, if you zoom into this picture to the original size, you can see that around the leaves of the palm tree, you can see that there's more compression here. You can see the blockiness here and here, right? So this is definitely an image that is way too compressed, and that doesn't look good anymore. You can see also like there's compression artifacts here. All these little squares that you can see when you look at this video closely and see this image in the original size. All these squares, that's what compression artifacts are. And if you use an image that is this compressed as an official image in your brand, I'm sorry, you're not going to look very professional with that. However, if we open the one that we saved at 75% quality, we can see that the image really looks not much different from the original image, especially not at this size. And even if we look at the original size, we can see that everything, all the fine details are still there. All the leaves look great, right? And then if we go over here, we can see that even here with the trees and the backgrounds, all of this looks very nice. You will see, if you look very closely here, around the edges of those palm tree leaves, you will see that there's a little bit of dottiness here. There are some dots. This is where the compression starts to set in. But as I said, if this doesn't bother you, and I really don't think it should because it's not going to bother your visitors, then you can save at 75%. You could also save at 80%, which is only going to make the file a little bit bigger, but is still going to look great. Anything higher than that, absolutely, definitely never go higher than 90% because it's not necessary. So there we go. We have successfully downscaled this picture in IrfanView, and we have saved it as a new JPEG file that you can now upload to your blog or your website or anywhere you want to use it on the internet. Thank you very much for watching. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do the same thing in GIMP, and well, I hope I'll see you there as well. So thanks, and we will be in touch. So long.